24, Jack, 2019, episode 84. Here on Comics Covered, we talk about comic books and the world around them, the comics industry, movies, TV games. We will also talk spoilers, and we're going to warn you about them beforehand.
Which day of July is it? Is it
the 24th?
But is it July 24? Is the day
yes,
called
but how
July
you
24?
say it in the English language is 24th.
What if I'm not speaking the English language?
I mean, I don't know what language says 24.
It's a dialect.
It's your own dialect?
A jackalect.
That's fine, you know.
Yes, that's our new word.
No judgment here. I mean, lots of judgment, but that's okay.
Absolutely.
Anyways, I'm Samantha, and I'm very new to comics. I don't know how much newer I am.
Yeah.
Than you, Jack.
Well, you're a little bit new in terms of time, I think. And I think your mentality, I think you have a very specific way in thinking about, like, you have an independent way in thinking about comics still, because you're new. You haven't developed as much, I feel like.
How have I not developed as much?
That's
like saying I'm one of those females that didn't develop until later in life.
Oh, that's not what I mean. All I mean is that you are still, like, the amount of time you spent as a comics fan means that neither of us have really, like, gotten a load on exactly what we like and what we don't like. We're just trying to fart in the wind and smell to see where the sense is coming from.
Right. That's a good analogy.
Yeah. Thank you. While this is Samantha, I'm Jack. I'm a little bit less new, but not really. We won't go into that again.
Yeah.
Samantha, do you want to talk about your week?
My week? Well, I finished my positive psychology class.
Oh, that's fun. Do you feel any more positive?
Not at all. Probably even more cynical, actually.
Why was that?
I just feel like when you're forced to learn and to apply, positive psychological aspects into scenarios and life things, it just kind of... It's like when someone tells you to do something, you want to do the opposite.
But you weren't being told to apply positive psychology. You were studying it.
I was studying it, but for my final paper, it had to do with applying it to mental disorders. Mm-hmm. And that was sort of just the kind of fart in the wind. See what, where it comes from. Yeah. But I got an A on it, so it's all good. Class is done. On to trauma and crisis counseling.
See, that's much more fun.
It is.
You should read Heroes in Crisis. Everyone loved it.
I've read it.
I know.
But yeah, I should actually cite that.
You should cite it.
Oh my god, I should totally cite it in one of my papers.
I'm sure they would love it. They wouldn't get on the Tom King hate train at least.
No. Anyway,
that's a fun week.
I think that was
That's a fun week.
It's pretty good. What about your week?
My week was so exciting. Oh yeah, that's right. Samantha just did a very controversial action to broadly describe what I did yesterday, which was I went to a class for Qigong. Samantha found something that I should go to on meetup.com, the wonderful app, and it was a Kung Fu meetup. It didn't really end up being that, but it was this thing called Qigong, which is all about coordinating your breath with your movements. And sort of like, it's very relaxing, and they play like the nice, like all that music and everything like that with the trickling water in the background. It was very nice. And it was just, controlling your breath and doing it with certain movements. Yeah, I would recommend it for everybody. Look it up. Qigong.
Alrighty.
Now Qigong. Sorry.
I like it.
Samantha, do you want to go on into news?
Sure.
But we don't really have that much news, do we?
No, we really don't. I mean, I did see Robert Redford's coming out of retirement for
cool.
Watchmen.
Actors always do that, though. See,
I know.
You were saying that at the end of the show. I was like, that's not really,
I know, but it's Robert Redford. I just find him
Daniel Day-Lewis is apparently retired, but he's done that like 3 times.
Well, that's Daniel Day-Lewis. He's a special guy.
This is Robert Redford.
He's a special guy, too, I guess.
My favorite thing about Robert Redford is that he's coming out of retirement to play Robert Redford.
Yeah.
In the new, do we say the new HBO Watchmen series?
Yeah.
I'm very excited. It looks so weird. Have you seen, we've watched a trailer together, right?
I don't think so, no.
It's not at all following the story whatsoever.
Really?
Do you not know this?
I did not know that.
They released these like character descriptions that were going to be in the show, And none of them are the characters from Watchmen, except for like one.
Weird.
Ozymandias. An older Ozymandias is going to be in this show. But that's like it.
That's super weird.
There's nothing else having to do with the books. Jeremy Irons is playing old Ozymandias. Do you know who that is?
No.
He's like the bad guy in Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Right, but remember I haven't seen any Die Hard movies.
You haven't seen any Die Hard movies?
No.
Not even the first one?
No.
Okay, we'll remedy that soon.
Okay.
God, who are you?
I don't know.
There's
I don't know who I am.
a stranger in my house.
It's actually my house, but...
Yes. Shut up. Nonetheless, there wasn't a lot of exciting news this week. Not a lot, but we did have really exciting stuff happening in the books.
Oh, sorry. One thing of news.
What?
Minnie Mouse died.
That's right, the voice from Minnie Mouse.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure there was a comic about her at some point, so it is somewhat relevant.
Yeah.
Minnie Mouse.
Very sad.
That's really sad.
It is. It actually is.
I wonder if they'll have some sort of tribute in Marvel Comics since Disney owns Marvel.
Because I just pictured when I saw it, when I read the news this morning of it, like, that this little kid goes to the Disney store and picks out a little Minnie Mouse, and the mom's like, but honey, she's dead. It's just really sad and,
I was just thinking,
funny at the same time.
What if they pick up a Minnie Mouse thing and it says, like, in memoriam on the butt or something? And it's like, Mommy, what does that mean? It'd be terrible.
Really sad.
Aw. We're just ruining kids' dreams on this show, aren't we?
I know.
We should do that. We should make that a thing.
It's too sad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else that's going to pop in your head?
I mean, if it pops up, I'll say it, but no, I don't think so.
Okay, for sure. So, with that, we're going to have, a great little interlude into our weekly comics. The horny session of the show. I said session.
Yeah.
I meant to say section.
That's okay. When you say the word horny, you don't know what's going to come out of your mouth next.
You really don't, actually.
You don't.
By definition.
Right.
Unless you're talking about, like, actual horns.
Right.
Which we don't have horns.
No.
Sorry. Samantha, we had books this week.
We did have books. We had a good amount of books this week.
Is it alright if I take the reins
Sure.
and tell them what we had this week?
Yeah.
Because I like saying the names of comic books. It's actually kind of an irrational thing. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Just to say them, because it makes me excited about what I was reading.
Nice.
So we both picked up Ascender number 4, ascending into the upper echelons of comics enjoyment. Right?
Right.
Should do that. I should do something like that for each one of these titles, since we're gonna have a shorter show.
Okay.
No? Detective Comics number 1008, detecting its way to a wonderful creative team.
Okay.
Farmhand number 10, farming so much emotional turmoil, along with some great humor. Along with handing us some great humor. Sorry. Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm gonna stop. Guardians of the Galaxy number 7, House of X, Invisible number 1, the first of Jonathan Hickman's X-Men saga. Invisible Kingdom number 5, Justice League Dark number 13, Martian Manhunter number 7, and I picked up the Marvel's Epilogue number 1 specifically. We both also picked up Skyward number 15. I'm sorry, I put that in there in the wrong order.
That's fine.
So it was kind of weird.
We all make really horrible mistakes sometimes.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I also got Action Comics number 1013. Samantha, do you want to do our short and sweet spoiler sound, please? The one we do every single week?
Well, I have one that I do, and then you had one that you did. I don't know which one you're referring to.
We do the same one every single week. That's good.
Cool.
I like that. That's good.
Thanks.
It's like a nice little, like, ding.
But there's also, caw.
Okay, I'm glad we're getting to the interpretive sounds part of our
Yeah,
podcast.
I flapped my wings, as I said that.
It was really good. It was
Thank
really
you.
good. Samantha, let's talk about, I think, what's most exciting about this week, which was House of X by Jonathan Hickman.
Mm-hmm.
Samantha, how much X-Men have you read?
0.
You've read nothing.
Nothing.
Have you not read any X-Men title at all in any of your comics reading?
No.
Wow. That's a lot. Have you seen...
Not deliberately. I just feel like when someone talks about it, like, there's so much that goes into it, and, like, I would just want to start at the beginning, but then it's such an endeavor, and I don't know.
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
How much exposure to X-Men have you had in terms of other media, like movies or TV? I
don't even know if I've seen... I saw one with you. We saw one in the movies.
Yeah, we watched...
I feel like that was it. I feel like, honestly, that was the only form of anything X-Men that I've ever seen.
That's so sad. Just for everyone listening, the movie she's referring to that is her only exposure to anything X-Men was X-Men Age of Apocalypse. The movie that came out, I don't know, a few years ago. It's not good.
No,
it's not a good movie, and I think you remember me telling you that it was bad.
Yeah.
There are a lot of better movies
yeah.
about the X-Men, and the X-Men are much better than that movie would have
hope
you think.
So, because so many people like them, I'm sure it's
yeah.
a lot better.
I feel so terrible now. We have to watch more of those movies.
Yeah.
We have to read more of this. Well, at least we're reading this.
Yeah.
So, Samantha, as someone who has had little to no to terrible exposure of the X-Men, what was your experience of reading Jonathan Hickman's House of X, #1?
I really liked it. I was I don't know if I would say
Be
confused.
Honest. Okay.
But I was kind of overwhelmed at the vastness of it, kind of.
Okay.
I feel like they went into a lot. It was a lot to take in for one issue.
Jonathan Hickman.
Yeah. But, I mean, other Jonathan Hickman stuff I feel like I've been able to grasp. Some of the stuff in this, I found myself, like, reading it and then going, wait, what did I read? And then I had to read it again. Wait. Oh, I gotta read it again.
Mm-hmm.
So I found myself doing that a lot. But I love the dialogue.
Okay.
The dialogue was great.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was mostly those information pages.
Oh yeah, with all the coding and
the coding and the text just of each describing certain people or places. That was just a lot.
When you reread it, did you eventually get to a place where you understood it, or was it still
I did. It was just still a lot to take in for one issue, especially to take in since I've had no knowledge of anything remotely similar to that.
Yeah. Were you confused at all that Charles Xavier is not in a wheelchair?
Yes, very much so. I thought this was his son called Charles.
No.
I don't know. I mean, why would he be looking so young and fit and standing and not in a wheelchair? I don't know.
Apparently, he returned to life by taking over another mutant's body.
Okay.
Was the deal.
So this mutant's body had his fit.
Yes, a younger mutant's body.
Okay.
That's what I got, but I didn't really know that at all. Honestly, most of what's new for you is new for me too, except for I recognize some characters. Do you recognize some characters that showed up?
Well, Magneto, I feel like I've heard of before.
Okay.
But I don't know from where. Who are the other characters that showed up in this?
Okay, here's
Wolverine, right?
Wolverine had
for a second.
He was there for a panel, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I know him.
Yeah. Let's go over this book a little sequence by sequence, just so we can figure out what you do know, what you don't know. Okay. So we're about to do a little, I guess you could call it a let's play.
To be a little test or whatever, because that's putting me on the spot.
It's not going to be a test.
Okay.
This is, if anything, opposite of a test.
Good.
It's to tell you what's going down. So, we open up...
school me.
Exactly. We open up the book, and we immediately get a notification from Professor X that the world has changed.
Right.
Which is apparently changed a lot because he's growing people out of a tree.
Right.
And he's being very, very God.
He looked very evil.
He looks very evil, doesn't he? This whole time. We didn't really hear him talk hardly at all.
No.
He could be totally off his rocker. And apparently, this has not been his, M.O. I like saying that, his M.O. What does that stand for?
Modus operandi.
What?
Modus operandi.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Is that Latin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I like it. We're learning stuff all over the place.
Yeah.
Okay, so Professor X is growing some people out of pods in a tree. Fun. I love it.
Fun.
Go Jonathan Hickman. We got our title page, The House That Xavier Built. Mm-hmm. Wonderful. And then we get a bunch of different pictures.
Well, we get these sequences where they're taking these flowers and planting them in different times and places.
Yeah.
And it kind of made me laugh a little bit because we just watched a Batman the Animated Series.
Okay.
With Poison Ivy.
Oh, that's right.
With that flower, what kind of flower?
It was some kind of rose that she was playing. This is Poison Ivy's introduction.
And we
into
saw
Batman.
a lot of sequences where it looked just like this, with the hand grabbing the flowers, moving it to a different place, and planting it, where it just looks like my precious kind of thing. So it looked so similar to me, so I'm like, oh yeah, we just saw this in another form.
That's really good. Well, a much different thing happens here.
Yeah.
Apparently these plants grow into giant trees and create habitats, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So apparently we're getting these ambassadors that are going to meet the mutants. They're new mutants that are doing all this, figuring out what's going down, why Xavier is being all weird. And they meet these two people. I don't know who they are. These two blonde girls who are white and white. Apparently their names are Esme and Sophie. I don't know who those people are.
They work for
Magneto.
Yeah.
Apparently they're like, I saw online that apparently they're actual people.
Oh.
And they relay stuff to Magneto. They're like his assistants, apparently. Cool. So that's fun. Yeah. Magneto's being Magneto. He's being ominous.
Yeah.
I don't know. So you know this character from before?
I've just heard the name, but I don't know anything about him.
Okay. Well, we have these symbols that mean either different human medications
and mutant medications.
Or mutant, like, power kind of things with the flowers.
Right.
From Krakoa. Which we just saw. Apparently Krakoa is a thing from Giant Size X-Men. Which is where, like, a lot of the newer, like, Wolverine, Storm, they were introduced in that big deal. Like, this reinvention of the X-Men. Mm-hmm. And apparently Krakoa was there, too. I never knew who that was. Or what that was. Not who. Sorry. I feel like we sound like such noobs.
We do. But we are. So, bear with us.
We are. So the mutants are...
Oh, yeah. And then
this is?
Well, before we get to her.
Oh, before we get to her.
It's on that page. This little girl, I thought her head was broccoli.
Oh, this green-haired girl.
Yeah.
This green girl talking
totally thought she was a broccoli.
Talking to Jean Grey. This is Jean Grey. Mm-hmm. She was originally Marvel Girl back in the day. She was one of the original X-Men, and she can move stuff with her mind, and she's a telepath.
Nice.
Like Charles Xavier.
Yeah.
Very, very powerful. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Dark Phoenix storyline.
No.
It's the Dark Phoenix.
But is Phoenix the one that Teddy's named after? My dog, when we got him, the previous people had named him Phoenix, and they said it was from the comics.
Oh, that might be it, actually. Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Seriously. It was really weird because I was like, I've never heard of that, but okay.
Well, that might make sense because just like Teddy, the Phoenix Force makes it so that Jean Grey is, when she's Jean Grey, all nice and whatever.
Yeah.
But the Phoenix Force makes her into this really super powerful, kind of evil cosmic being that sort of kills people all the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Teddy.
So Samantha's dog is somewhat like that, where he's very loving and cuddly a lot, but he gets very scared, and then he tries to kill you. So he's the Phoenix Force.
Oh, he got mad at that. You can hear that.
Yeah, we better not talk about it.
Jack, how could you?
So, anyways, that's Marvel Girl, or Jean Grey. She's very powerful, and she's leading this green broccoli hair girl through a portal.
Cool.
To Krakoa. Also, these fucking eyes. So we get a shot of these eyes is this on Krakoa? Yeah, it is.
It looks like they're like breaking open parts of the wall.
Yeah.
To look through.
Really strange. Apparently Krakoa is an actual living thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that was weird, but I'll take it. So we got this whole, environment for the mutants. They're living all happy and everything. We get this whole splash page where we have geography. Still, this is all new to me too.
Okay.
So even though you don't have any, exposure, there's not too much here. Jonathan Hickman, I feel like, has done a really good job of, like, it's a lot, but it's not impossible for a new reader to understand.
Which I think this is a good place for me to start.
Yeah.
With all this, so I'm glad that this is coming out now, because then I can get, like, a little taste of what X-Men is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like a huge status quo change, which is the main deal. Like, you want a status quo change so you know, like, okay, where's the jumping off point?
Yeah.
And then we can fuck it over all over the place.
Yeah.
So, we learn that the humans have their own space station when the mutants, take over the world, which they think is going to happen. And then, we get a bunch of pages saying about it. This is where I kind of want to talk about. We have 3 characters then in this scene that are stealing something from this storage house called Damage Control. Mm-hmm. Do you know any of these characters?
I don't think I did.
No?
No.
So this blue-haired woman with red hair is... I just said blue-haired with red hair. Oh. Blue-skinned woman with red hair is Mystique. She can,
okay, she's Jennifer Lawrence.
She's Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer Lawrence is her.
Yeah.
She can change her appearance to look like anybody else.
Yeah.
This is Sabretooth. Sabretooth is kind of guy's got a temper problem, and he is Wolverine's brother. I believe so.
Oh.
Half-brother? Someone corrects me, please. Again, we're both new at this. Half-brother, but he's got a little bit of an attitude. Mm-hmm. And then this dude is Toad with them. He was originally on the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. Okay. They were not good people. Ah. He can jump a lot, but he's, I guess, just stealing something from mutants now. Mutants seem to be all on the same page, which usually isn't a thing, apparently. Huh. So that's kind of cool that they're all working together.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all working together in kind of a aggressive capacity.
But it's probably aggressive because they're sick of being, like, treated a certain way, right?
Absolutely. But on the same side, they did like, annex an entire island into their name and have built habitats in different places around the world, seemingly without any, reason.
Right.
I don't know. But then the Fantastic Four come in, and they get them. You know who the Fantastic Four are?
Yes, I do.
Johnny Storm.
Yeah.
Ben Grimm.
Yeah.
The Thing. We go back to these ambassadors going through this Krakoa stuff. It's fun. Magneto's being...
But I liked it when they're like, okay, so let's go in. And he's like, Magneto's like, nope.
No.
You're not one of us. You can't come in.
Can't do it. And this is after he's taken them to, like, all over the place, different parts where they're...
showing, like, what it could be, right?
They're showing, like...
Or what it's going to be.
It seems like Krakoa is their island, which is their home base, and then all these other places are, like, places they can travel to that are under the Krakoa umbrella, but they are places that humans can go.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's very funny. He's kind of a dick.
Yeah.
Our friends Mystique, Sabretooth, and Toad try to escape the Fantastic Four, but Sabretooth gets left behind. Do you know who this guy is that comes back?
Again, I recognize him, but I don't really know who he is.
His name is Cyclops.
Right.
He's fun. Mm-hmm. James Marsden plays him in the movies. You love him, right?
I do.
He's a very, very handsome man.
Very handsome.
He's very good at playing Cyclops.
Yeah.
A little moody, but then again, Cyclops is very moody. But he's pretty carefree here, apparently. He's just kind of like, dude, we want Sabretooth. Mm-hmm. Just give it to us. He's like, and Reed Richards is like, dude, we don't want to give him to you.
Right.
But Cyclops is like, okay, we'll find another way. He seems like a chill dude.
Yeah.
But also, they'll probably...
But you're worried because you know he's not going to be chill about it. He's just going to go about it now in a very, probably, aggressive way.
Well, yeah, the power dynamic here... This entire issue has established a power dynamic where the mutants are like, we're taking the power that we think we have.
Yeah. That
we know we have. So, yeah, it just feels icky a lot. All over the place. Like, there isn't really a... conflict that's set up here, but the entire thing that the mutants are doing is absolutely conflict driven. Yeah. So it's just very cool. Oh, then I was going to ask you, we have this page describing what an Omega level mutant is.
I understood that.
Can you tell everybody at home?
I don't know if I can describe it, but wasn't it like one of their powers gets to a point where like no one can go above it?
It basically means if you're an Omega level mutant, you have like godlike powers.
Right.
You are like some of the most dangerous.
But wasn't it like one mutant can only like one of their powers can only be? They can't have two powers that are Omega levels.
If their like mutation includes two different types of powers, only one of them can be considered Omega level.
Right.
They gave the example of Jean Grey, who is both a telepath and telekinetic, but she's only Omega level in her telepathy.
Yes.
So we have a whole list of people here. I didn't recognize most of these people on this list.
Legion.
We have Legion on
David
here.
Haller.
You just referenced Charles Xavier's son. You remember
that's his son?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
That's his son.
This is a lot.
It is a lot. So yeah, Legion is there. He is a power manifestation. You know, I guess that's his. I don't really know what that means. But
his power is power manifestation.
His like thing in the comics is that he has dissociative identity disorder, and each one of those identities has a different power. So theoretically, he's able to have a different power, kind of like Crazy Jane in the Doom Patrol,
right?
In a way,
right.
Then you recognize like Storm. Do you know who that is? Yeah. She has weather control. We have I don't know who else on this. Oh, they were talking about Reed Richards and Sue Storm's son.
Oh.
You remember Cyclops talked about, you really should bring your son by. He has family.
He has a home here, yeah.
Yeah, and he's also the only Omega level mutant on this list whose, alliance is with the humans.
Yeah.
So I think that's really, really cool. That's already setting up a conflict right there.
Right.
And that's also, Franklin Richards is also apparently a creation from Jonathan Hickman's Fantastic Four run. So I'll bet you he's going to use Fantastic Four and him a lot, that son.
Yeah.
So what else do we got here? We get revealed that all these ambassadors that were, meeting with not Jonathan Hickman. That were meeting with Jonathan Hickman, a.k.a. Magneto.
Yes.
All these ambassadors were from spy organizations and just trying to figure it out. Magneto's kind of okay with that.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, go tell them everything.
But then one of the blonde women is like, hey, this dude has a weapon.
His gun. I fucking love this. By the way, this art throughout.
Yeah, it was cool. I loved the top part where her head is just kind of turned and just with like no emotion. She's like, he has a weapon.
Yeah.
Like, go fuck him up.
They're kind of creepy, but that's their own job. Great. I think there's something where they have an actual hive mind. Mm-hmm. Somehow. I don't know. I read that somewhere. So maybe that affects the way they output and their personality. Or maybe they're just, chill.
Yeah.
But I just want to talk about like this art throughout. I don't know if I was as impressed with it in the previews, but I think that it works so well, especially in terms of the colors along with it.
Yeah.
I think it just looks like such a nice part of the whole.
It does.
I don't know. It's not the pencils in particular that I like. I like everything. Like the colors with the pencils, like working as a team. It's just, I don't know. Did you like this overall? Art is a really important thing for you.
Yeah. It was really good.
Yeah.
I was digging the art.
Very nice. So we move on forth. Oh, and the last thing that we get is Magneto telling the various spies that have come to his tour around Krakoa, you have new gods now. Mm-hmm. Which is a very Magneto thing to say. Not as much a Charles Xavier thing to say, I don't believe. I don't know. Do you think it's weird? Let me tell you that over the years, Magneto and Charles Xavier have had different ideologies on how mutant and human relations should be.
Okay.
Charles Xavier has always been that coexist sort of mentality. We all need to work together to build the best world for everybody.
Yeah.
Magneto has been more so the we're mutants and we're better than you, so, we'll give you what we can, but you're under us inherently.
Yeah.
So a lot of the idea that I got from all of this is Magneto's way being more laid into. Because it seems like, I don't know, on one hand, they are totally not, like, enslaving them or, like, killing them or anything like that. They're coexisting. Right. But it's, I don't know, it's very, like, they're grabbing for their power kind of aggressively. So do you feel like, I don't know, Charles Xavier is behaving still with his message in mind, that he just wants coexistence, or do you think he's getting a little sick of it?
I think he's getting a little sick of it. It sounds like they're all getting, like, the theme of this was just like, we're sick of it, we're taking over because we're better.
Yeah.
That's what it sounded like.
Definitely. And
they have the power to do so, so it's going to get crazy.
It's going to get nutso-butso. I'm so excited for next week because we're going to get an X-Men issue from Jonathan Hickman for 12 weeks straight.
I know. It's so exciting.
It's crazy. So this series is kind of going over what's happening in the present day, and apparently Powers of 10, the one that starts next week, is going to go over sort of X-Men history as it's led to this point.
And Powers of 10 comes out weekly, right?
No. Each of these series is going to come out once every 2 weeks, basically.
Okay.
And each one is going to be off. Okay. So we're going to have this issue of House of X, next issue of Powers of 10, and then the next issue. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So it's just going to be a really fun time to set up this entire universe and different stuff, and I'm very excited to share this time with you. Aww. So yeah, we'll keep talking about Jonathan Hickman's House of X and Powers of 10 in the coming weeks. Moving on, do you want to introduce our next book, Samantha?
Yeah, Skyward number 15. We were both pretty surprised at something about this. I don't know if it was announced or if we were told this at some point, but this was the last issue.
Yeah.
It was. I was shocked. I was kind of upset because Jack called me and he's like, I have some unsettling news. And, his poor grandmother just went through major surgery. So my first thought was, oh no, what happened?
Oh no.
And then he says, Skyward ended. And I'm like, oh. So yeah, it sucks. But the way he made it sound was like life and death.
It's not quite as bad as my poor grandmother having a complication.
Yes.
Oh
so
dear.
Very
she's
happy.
Doing very well now, by the way.
Yeah, she's doing great.
I'm very happy for her. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I forgot to tell you that was my reaction to your call. But yeah, Skyward ended. It was sad.
Not unsettling?
It was great. I don't know if it's unsettling. It's just kind of surprising.
It unsettles me. There's so many more places they can go with this. I really
but
hope
they might do it.
It sounds like they would be excited to do it.
I feel like they didn't expect to have this much success with it, to be honest.
Honestly, I haven't read any sales reports. I don't know how well it's selling.
Well, I've seen some stuff on Reddit, and a lot of people seem to like it. Mm-hmm. And I remember they were at our local comic book shop, and we, just walked right by. And now they were nominated for an Eisner.
Yeah.
So, it's doing really well, and now he's making it into a TV show.
Yeah. I hope there's enough buzz to carry it around for more, because there's so much more they can do. At the end, they tease us with, I wonder what the ocean looks like. I want to know what the fucking ocean looks like. I want to know what fish look like.
Yeah.
God, I mean, I'm sure they look like fish, but, are they flying in the air because there's less gravity?
I don't know.
Well, can you set up this entire series? What has this series been about, Samantha?
Well, the series is about, I think when she was a little kid, gravity stopped, right?
Well, gravity was severely, it was lessened. There was a lot less gravity.
Right. So, she, everyone was able to, fly around and shit.
Yeah.
And...
But they couldn't jump too high or else they would go skyward and die in space.
Exactly. So there was always this fear surrounding that. Even though it was a more freeing thing to be able to do stuff like that, it was always kind of dangerous and taking a risk each time.
What would you say this series has been about for you? What's your takeaway? Well, our main character, she, what would you say is one of her biggest characteristics?
I feel like she was raised by this man who was very fearful and kind of instilled that in her because her mother was gone once the incident with gravity happened. Yeah. So her father was always never go outside, and just laid that into her. And so she was scared, but she decided she wanted to be free and go out. And I don't know, I just felt like she wanted to help the world in some way, and she kind of pushed the fear aside and did it anyway. Yeah. And it was just kind of a really uplifting story of if you want to help that bad, you're gonna darn well do it.
Yeah. You know what? I kind of got the idea that at the beginning for this character, the first arc was sort of about her being fearless and not giving fear the time of day for anything. Right. And then once she had a responsibility to do something, or her father gave her that, she kind of found out why there was fear in the world. She lost her dad to a rainstorm. You know, you remember that scene where she was trying to swim through the whole rain? I thought that sequence was some of the best stuff because it sort of taught her fear. It did. Which I think
sort of made her understand what her father was trying to instill in her all these years that she kind of just didn't take seriously.
But at the same time, not getting her so far to the point where she'll forget that, you still need to go out there and do stuff to get stuff done. Right. So I think it was a really, really cool arc for this character throughout this series. And that's really what I'm looking for. On top of just this entire series being gorgeous in its art, I think it's Lee Garbett and Antonio Fabela on colors just has been a treat this entire time. I think they've really done such a good job of bringing everything to life and sort of, I don't know, putting these, I guess not really abstract, because all you have to do is say, what does this look like without gravity? Right. But that can be very abstract sometimes, like the rainstorm, like what the ocean could look like in the future. So, I don't know, this whole series, like you said, I think it's been about fear and overcoming it, but not forgetting it. Right. And a real coming-of-age story for Willa. Yeah. It's been very cool. I hope they have more.
I really do, because I feel like they gave us a little tease into this, world, and and everything, and then now she's gonna have a whole nother exploration of things, and we all want to be there with them. So, yeah.
Like, I think some of the best stories can come out of a concept being, let's tweak one thing about the world and see all the different ways it can affect it. And that's what it felt like for me this entire time. And there's so much more world than what we saw. We've only seen, like, I think from Chicago to St. Louis. Mm-hmm. Was that it?
I think so.
Because I think all the farms were in St. Louis or something. That's not that far.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So, yeah, I'm really, really excited, hopefully, for more.
I hope so. I really hope so. And it was surprising. I mean, we got this kind of on a whim, I feel like.
Yeah, we saw the writer there. Right. And he was just giving out first issues.
But we didn't get it then.
No.
If you remember. No. We did not get it that one day. You and I went in the comic book store. He was there doing it. We didn't get it. And then you went again. I don't remember if it was the same day or the next week and you picked it up.
I don't think so. You're thinking about a different one, I believe.
No, because I went with you and I saw that they had it and we didn't get it then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but I did get it from the artist or from the writer because he signed my first issue.
Right. But
so you think he was there for 2 days?
I think so.
I don't think so.
Well, I don't know, but I remember I was there and we didn't get it.
Okay, interesting. Well, we didn't get it.
Yeah.
But we got it now, and I'm very happy.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on into another one that's ending something. It's ending its second arc, Farmhand, by Rob Guillory.
Yeah.
Samantha, can you tell us a little bit what this arc was like in general?
I mean, I don't know. I can't do that. No.
I would say, like, the first arc was a great introduction into what they were doing with the farm and the seed and everything, and a little, like, taste of how it can go wrong. And just shit spiraled out of control. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, people started getting sick at the beginning of this arc, and they were coming to the farm in droves, and people were getting mad at Jed, and then he got put in the fucking hospital, and then this fucking mayor, Monica Thorne, she is evil as sin. Yeah.
I mean, she was evil, and then I think the last little bit that we got of her in this last issue, where Zeke is remembering when he was a kid at his mom's funeral, and he ran outside to the cemetery and just, like, hid behind a tree and was crying, and Monica came up to him, and he's like, "Hi, Auntie Mo," because that's what they called her. So obviously, you know, she was this calming familial presence to him, and she was like, he's like, "Did you hear my mom died? She got sick. It's horrible." And she just said, "Well, honey, you know your dad killed her, right?" Just planting that seed in his head.
Planting that seed, pun intended?
Literally planting that seed in his head. And then someone comes to get him, right?
Yeah.
I think someone just shows
up. And she's just not there.
She's just not there. It's horrible.
Yeah. She's a terrible person.
Yeah, she really is freaking evil.
I was talking to Doug about this some week ago. I think it was the last issue. I want to see a crossover with Swamp Thing.
Ooh,
that'd be the coolest fucking thing. Like, she can control plants.
Yeah.
So what if she, like, was able to control Swamp Thing's motions, but he had to find a way to get out of her control and, like, you know.
If at the end he killed her, it would be beautiful.
I know. I feel like they need Swamp Thing in Farmhand.
Yeah, they do.
They really do.
They really do. I mean, it's so great. And I was telling Jack earlier, like, I feel like Farmhand is a great series that people who aren't really into comics can start with, because it's just fun, relatable.
It's not even just fun. There are some great horror elements with this too. I think it balances drama with hysterical comedy so well.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like, it's not so out there that people can't relate at all to it. Yeah.
Well, it's also dealing with something real. It's dealing with healthcare and what people are willing to do to be healthy.
Right.
You know, like,
or even cosmetic.
Or even cosmetic things, yeah. Like, it's very tied to real human situations. And I think that's ultimately what makes it so good. Yeah. Like, it surprises me so much. This is Rob Guillory's, I think, his first writing. Like, he was the artist on Chew forever, and that was a great series. We haven't finished it, but it's fantastic. And it seems like he brought every single bit of creativity that came with. Not saying John Layman, the writer of Chew, isn't great in and of itself. Like himself is what I mean. But Rob Guillory just showing that he can produce something by himself really well.
Yeah.
Whew.
Very pleased with this series. Very pleased.
Yeah. And while the art at first looks like a little cartoony,
it does.
It is used to such a dramatic effect at times, I feel like, and it's used to like show the gross nature of like a hand being grown out of the ground, or like eyes coming out of a tree. Like, or
one of the things was this woman who had a branch coming out of her shoulder.
Yeah.
And then she's like, it was fine until a bird laid on it.
Like right there, yeah. You go from a horror to like a bird landed on my shoulder. Like that's hysterical.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic stuff. I would highly recommend to everybody. They just finished their second arc, and I think they said the second volume was coming out in September.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to get the trade as well, but, you know, it's always an option. Okay, so I have a couple more things to say. Not anything ending or anything. This is just, you know, notes about certain books that I wanted to get off my chest.
Okay.
First of all, I wanted to talk about Justice League Dark. Justice League Dark is a fantastic series that everyone should be reading, first of all. I wanted to talk about something specific. In Justice League Dark, we had a scene where Zatanna, our resident magician, aka sorceress, is talking to John Constantine.
That was my favorite part of it.
In a bar. Yeah?
Yeah.
Why was it your favorite part?
Because I felt like she was really being badass.
Yeah.
And desperate, and you could feel it. It was great. The dialogue just... I don't know. You just really could relate to her desperation and wanting to get this out of him. You almost wanted to slap him.
Yeah.
And
And it paid off. Like, she's keeping him around so that he can keep telling her stuff and trying to get it out of him. So yeah, she's questioning him about a specific night where her father died. Burst into flame with some big magical event, right?
Yeah.
I want to tell you something, Samantha, that I haven't told you yet.
What?
I had probably the best experience of this scene I could have possibly had.
Why?
Because I, just this past Wednesday, finished reading Saga of the Swamp Thing Volume 4, which ends with Saga of the Swamp... This is by Alan Moore from 1986 or so. This is Saga of the Swamp Thing number 50 is what this book ends with.
Okay.
Saga of the Swamp Thing number 50 recounts a big magical event where John Constantine gets a bunch of magical people together, and in someone's house they sit around a table and hold hands while Swamp Thing is in like the underworld with Deadman, a bunch of mystical characters to, you know, solve the problem there.
Wow. I
read in Saga of the Swamp Thing 2 days before reading this issue this exact same event.
That's crazy.
In its original, like,
oh my god,
telling. It was amazing.
That's insane.
Because, like, they started talking about this. I'm like, holy shit, I just saw this in this issue that was written 30 years prior.
Wow.
And one of the coolest things about it is that, you know, he goes to Zatanna and Zatara, and he talks to them, and she's telling him about how, you know, I convinced my father to go, but that wasn't really how it went.
Right.
And I saw that just now, and it's now put immediately into a new context.
Wow.
And it was really, really cool also because Zatanna was very naive. She was naive to John Constantine's lies completely. And the difference between her there and now is just amazing. And she's become one of my favorite characters. I remember seeing her, she was one of the bonus characters in the original Injustice game. And I was like, why is there just a random magician girl in fishnets here? That's so weird and stupid.
Yeah.
But she's fucking awesome.
She's great.
She's badass motherfucker.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was really cool. Like, I saw Zatara burst into flame just now.
That's so funny.
It was crazy.
Because, I mean, I remember you were thinking, like, what should I read next? And you're going between certain things, and if you hadn't have picked that...
I wouldn't have known.
Yeah, you wouldn't have read that at this time.
So. I don't even know if we'd have made the connection if we'd have read that so much later.
Right, because you would have maybe read it in a couple months, or...
Yeah. But he even makes a mention, like, we sent the Swamp Thing or something or your swampy friend to the underworld. It was, I don't know, there's a specific line where he references that he went down there. Whatever. It's just really cool. I'm very happy.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to say about Justice League.
Dark. Yeah.
And apparently at the end we're going to get a Legion of Doom Dark.
Woo!
A Legion of Dark.
Legion of Dark Doom.
Dark Doom. Dark Doom.
Dark Doom.
Wouldn't it be a Legion of Doom Dark, though?
But Dark Doom sounds better.
Dark Doom is much better. I also wanted to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy by Johnny Cates.
Yeah.
The first arc of his run, I thought was a little bit disappointing.
It was.
Maybe that's because my expectations were too high. Maybe that was...
Yeah, because it's Johnny Cates.
It's Johnny Cates. We have a very high opinion of him. It was still good. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Yeah.
As we start with this new arc, number 7, I don't know if it's a major change. Like, I know it's the beginning of an arc and it's setting up, but I don't know if I'm still, like, at the level of, like, enjoying it like I enjoy most every other Johnny Cates thing I've ever read.
Yeah.
What do you think of it? I don't want to color your perception, but tell me what you thought when you were reading this.
I mean, I enjoyed this arc so far better.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe I feel like he's easing more into, like, he's getting more comfortable with the characters.
Yeah.
Kind
of sowing the seeds.
of. But still, from everything else I've read of Johnny Cates, this does not get up there at the same it's not at the same level.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, I think he's going to be on this title for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think this is kind of the first time he's had, like, a, you know, now, what is now a big title for a long-term run. So, I think maybe he's just trying to try out his decompressed storytelling and trying to just really slow burn all this stuff.
Yeah.
Which, I'm not going to drop this anytime in the near future. But I just want to share my concerns because, you know, we've lost Jeff Shaw on art, which is kind of annoying because I love Jeff Shaw. He's amazing. I get it. But, you know.
I mean, I really love the cover of this issue.
Yeah.
Is that the cover of it?
I don't know. We'll have to see. I think they usually put the titles at the end. So let me see what the credits page says. Nope, it's not at the end. That's just a dying rocket. Cover art is David Marquez and Dean White.
Yeah, I like the cover.
It looks great. But yeah, I'm just gonna check in with it because I'm just wary. I just have expectations and I want them to be met.
Yeah, but again, like I said, I feel like he's getting comfortable with the characters. He just has to find his place within it, and I think once he does, it's gonna be great knowing him. Yeah.
So you're saying we should trust in Donnie? I
think we should trust in Donnie. I mean, when I met him, he was the sweetest person ever.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of times when I meet people that are like idols, you know, to me.
Yeah.
You don't really get that sweet kind of person. You kind of get that arrogant.
Yeah. But he seems like a super down-to-earth, chill dude.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to trust in him.
Trust in Donnie. Okay, well, Samantha, we have books next week, too.
Ooh.
What do you want to tell the folks at home what we got? It is a 5th week. Do you know what that is?
5th week? No.
So a 5th week in comics means that there have been 5 Wednesdays in this month.
Oh,
which means new comic books have come out 5 different days in July.
Okay.
So 5th weeks are usually smaller weeks for everyone because they don't put as many books out because they don't really have the plan in place.
Right.
But we have a few exciting things, so why don't you tell people what we got?
So we have Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man number 9.
Oh.
The Green Lantern Annual.
Yes.
Number 1. Okay.
It is written by not Jeff Lemire, Grant Morrison. So it's not just a collection of stories from random people like a lot of annuals are. Right. It's actually going to be a part of the story probably.
Okay. So I'm excited to see how that's different from the actual story. Okay.
Might be a different artist. I don't know. Actually, I'm going to check. Why don't you keep reading it off?
Ice Cream Man number 13. I feel like we haven't gotten an Ice Cream Man in a long time. Was
haven't.
That a trade break?
They've been in a break between arcs for a while. I think a few months.
Yeah, I've missed it. Cool. Ice Cream Man number 13. Justice League Dark Annual number 1.
Also written by James Tynion IV.
So not a collection of stories.
Not a collection of stories, seemingly.
Okay. Last Night on Earth number 2, which I haven't read yet.
Oh, you haven't read it yet? No. Yes. Samantha is planning to read all of Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo's run on Batman before she gets there.
Yeah.
Because there are some things that they're kind of tying in.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be a better reading experience if you got that under your belt.
Yeah. So I'll do that. That's the plan.
Yeah.
Okay. And lastly, we have Powers of 10, number 1.
Woof!
Exciting.
So yeah, it's going to be a lot of X-Men.
Yeah.
By the way, in Green Lantern, it is not Liam Sharp doing the art on this annual. It's Giuseppe Camuncoli. I don't know. But it's gonna be $5 and it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be a story. I was gonna look up Justice League Dark annual as well, just to see if we got, a normal person. We did have a different artist this week. What'd you think of it?
It was good. I liked it.
Apparently Doug was telling me over the phone that Mark Buckingham, the guy who did the art for a lot of it, did a really famous story called Fables back in the day, and that's what he's famous for.
I've heard that. That's still going on, or we just constantly see it at the comic book store?
I have no idea. Maybe we do.
Yeah.
This is really exciting. This Justice League Dark annual is going to be a story about Swamp Thing.
Ooh.
Written by James Tynion IV and drawn by Gillen March, who I've heard of before. He's done a lot of really cool stuff. I believe he has very cool art. And this cover is beautiful by Riley Rossmo, the artist of Martian Manhunter.
Very nice.
So it's going to be a Swamp Thing story about the new Parliament of Flowers.
Cool.
So yeah, I'm very excited for both of those annuals. They should be great. Fifth week is a smaller one, but still exciting, and we'll be here along with you. Samantha, do you have anything that you're reading outside of your weeklies that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I think I talked about it last week. I haven't even gotten to read it because of the weeklies. But probably because this is a smaller week next week, I'll be able to read a little bit of it.
Totally.
I'm on Black Science Volume 2.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm reading.
Great
outside.
stuff.
And then I think afterwards I have Black
Widow by Chris Samney and Mark Waid.
Yes. Volume 2.
It's so good. Their partnership in creative team is just... They produce some of the coolest, most dynamic storytelling. It's just amazing. Mm-hmm. Highly recommend that. I want to read... They have a Daredevil run as well. Mark Waid has a Daredevil run that Sammy does a part of. So, someday we'll get there.
Lots to get to, obviously.
Lots. One thing else that's ending this week was a book called Night Moves.
Oh, yeah.
Neither Samantha nor I really remember what happened. Yeah. So it's been a while since we had an issue from it, so we decided both to read all the previous issues, which is just 5 of them, before we go into this last one. So we're going to report back and report on that series, because I think we both really, really liked it all the way through. Yeah. It's this weird, supernatural, kind of noir detective story in Las Vegas, and it's really been great, but it's just, I think, going to be better read in trade. Yeah. All the way through. I agree. So that'll be exciting. We'll talk about that maybe next week.
We'll see if we get to it. Hopefully we can get to it.
Hopefully. It is a 5th week.
Yeah.
Well, nonetheless, I think that's going to about do it for us. If you made it this far, I'd like to thank you personally. Samantha would too.
Yeah, I would too.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Thank you.
So much.
I can say it too.
You can say it too. You're welcome.
Okay.
So much for listening. Pretty please, with a cherry on top, give us a review or star rating on iTunes. It's very helpful. And it's not that hard, so just fucking do it. I'm just kidding. Sorry, that was mean.
Oh.
I'm sorry. And if you enjoyed what you heard, please let someone know about us. We release episodes weekly on Sundays, so be sure to check back in next week. Or better yet, you can subscribe to the podcast feed and never have to think about it. Samantha, do you want to do the rest of the outro? It's all you have to do is read the words. It's right there.
Yeah, you can subscribe on many different podcast apps like iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and Google Play Music. Ooh. So whichever podcast app you prefer, we've got you
covered. Ooh.
You can also find web archives of previous episodes at comicscovered.libsyn.com and on our YouTube channel. We are on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook under the handle @comicscovered. And if you want to get a hold of us with a question or feedback, send us a message on social media or email to comicscovered@gmail.com. Thank you again for listening. I'm Samantha.
And I am a big blue bonnet.
Oh.
And this has been Comics Covered.